I'm going to say something really embarrassing now. I created an AI therapist, and I did something maybe unwise. I loaded everything I've ever written, text messages going back to 1999, all of it, and I asked it to create a personality profile. Reading it, I started to cry, revealing things I had never known before, because it was like, now I understand. I must be in a coma. I hope I don't wake up. I suffer from loss aversion. Whenever I have something, I'm worried that it's going to be taken away.
You still feel like you're a scrappy little channel?
I do, and I feel like every day it's gonna go away, and the numbers we're plateauing. It's constant.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
It's constant anxiety.
Endless discussions with the team on we're declining, we're
right.
plateauing, it's over, they're gonna censor us,
and it's so not over for you. And my last video is the best performing one in the history of the channel. So, okay, maybe we can still do this a little longer. But when I started the channel, the plan was to do science videos and then the weird ones that I liked and try to balance it. And all the YouTube consultants said, you got to skew young, high energy, smash that like. So my earlier videos my first video was about math. And then, I did top 10 lists, like 10 weirdest animals, dangerous places, scariest things, like everyone was doing. And it was like, hey, hit that like, I'm doing this. This is my energy. This is who I am. And it wasn't who I was, and nobody's watching this. No one was responding to it, and it didn't feel right anyway. I just felt like this is the performance they say to do, and I just started to get frustrated. And I guess about a year and a half in, and 60, 70 episodes, I just said, I'm going to just do what I want to do. I'm going to make the show that I would want to watch. And you know what? The biggest response I'm getting from the audience are people my age, 40s and 50s. So I'm just going to lean into Gen X. Just be authentic and just tell the stories that I like. And then that's when it happened.
I love that, man.
I mean, that's so if there's creators watching you, which there are, my advice is just be yourself, be authentic, be raw, just let all the wounds show. Like I was telling you at breakfast on the Wi-Fi's backstage, there's videos of me crying, talking about depression. I just own it. Just own it.
Man, you're like one of the only people I've ever heard that does this.
No.
Yeah, man. Are you kidding me? People are scared to death of authenticity. They're scared to death of authenticity and being vulnerable. And I've talked to countless people that, that want to start a YouTube. I love helping people. I mean, that's what this show kind of developed into what it is I just wanted to help people and bring exposure to everything from corruption to where it really started was I just got tired of like veterans not being able to get a business going because nobody would give them exposure. And so that's how it started, man, was bringing exposure to veteran businesses through their journeys of vulnerability, to be authentic. And it worked. But I think that, you can tell people, be authentic, be vulnerable. They can't do it.
It's hard to let down the guard. It certainly was for me as a lifelong performer. You're always doing a performance. Even if in your normal life you have certain characters or traits that you emphasize more with your buddies that when you're with your wife. There's kind of different roles that you play. So it's kind of hard. It's difficult to let down that guard. But what I started to...
How did you know? I mean, what hit you, especially coming from entertainment? I mean, it's just, everything's fake. The mainstream media is fake. The news channels are fake. They're all bought. They all have... politics is fake. Movies, for a long time, I think people didn't realize how much propaganda is inserted into mainstream media. Hollywood movies, and until they went overboard, and then everybody kind of figured it out. And
right.
I'm with everybody else. I didn't have any inclination that it was all bullshit until everybody else started talking about it. But yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, they're scared to death of authenticity, and so how did you, especially coming from there and all the fakeness and all the bullshit, moving it. I mean, what hit you that it was like, just be authentic?
So I suffer from anxiety and depression, but not severely. I'm a little medicated for it, but not heavily. Like I'm high functioning. I'm on the spectrum, but I'm high functioning. You know, I'm very uncomfortable talking about myself, very uncomfortable being the center of attention. I'm the guy at the party hiding in the corner. So my outlet would be to perform, to do voice work, be a character, be on stage, be an actor, because then the lines are prepared for you. Even if you're doing stand-up, you've already written it. So you have control. I have control, even though I'm putting myself out there. I know what the words are. I know what comes next. I know what I'm doing right and wrong. So to be authentic, that all goes away. And it's like, I don't know what I'm going to say next. Like, as I'm sitting here now, I don't know what I'm going to say next. But I think it was when I started talking to my community, which I would call a community more than an audience, but like the people that really supported me since the beginning. I just started engaging with them through live streams, and like with our Patreon live streams, fans turn their cameras on, like we all talked together. And I found myself just opening up because they were fans, they were just excited to hear from me, but it became almost like a therapy for me. Like I can tell these people anything. They're not judging me. There's always going to be the assholes in the comments. But for the most part, it was like, hang in there. I'm going through the same thing. You know, what you're doing is important. It was very encouraging. So eventually the wall just comes down. And now when I live stream, you just don't know what I'm going to, Jen gets nervous. She'll hear me going into a direction. She's like, I don't think I'm just saying it. So I'm the most honest in my life when I'm talking on that stream to the people who watch the show. I'll say anything, and it's the truth. Now I won't out somebody. I won't share a secret if it's in confidence. But if someone asks me, are you going through something right now? Because you don't look good. Because for about a year during the channel, I was not doing well, and so I would say I'm not doing well. I'm stressed out all the time. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. I'm losing weight. I'm not healthy. My doctor's concerned, and this is just where we are.
Wow.
But better now. It's a process.
You seem great. Are you comfortable here?
You make it comfortable. I was terrified coming here. At some point I want to start talking to if I'm researching an episode and I start emailing with the Grand Master Knights Templar, and I'm emailing with him for in research, it would be nice to actually have Timothy Ogan sit down and have a conversation about Knights Templar. That would be pretty cool. So if I'm going to do that, I need to be comfortable in a conversation. So I'm trying to do that here. And I specifically chose your show and you because your team is amazing. You've been kind since the beginning, extremely professional. But it seems like everybody's going out of their way to make me feel comfortable. Like we just shot guns, we had breakfast, we hung out. It just feels like you're hanging out with friends here, and I haven't met any of you guys before. But I knew that coming in because that's your reputation. And I've watched your interviews. I've read lots of articles about you, including hit pieces. And it's like, this is an interesting guy that I want to know. And I think I can learn a lot from just having a conversation with Shawn.
Man, well, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. And it's going to mean a lot to my team, too. So
They're the best.
Thank you. What was the turning point
For feeling better
for the Y-Files?
when it started to be successful?
Was it a immediate pivot?
It was a hockey stick.
It was a hockey stick.
Yeah, it was a year and a half to 2 years of just flat. I think at end of year one was 40, 50 episodes. I had maybe 1,500 subscribers, 2,500, and nobody was watching. 200 views, 300 views. And the second year was similar. Started to get better. I think I ended the second year with 25,000 subscribers, but still was getting 2,500 views. So you can't make a living doing any of that. But I was enjoying it, and just seeing people respond to the content was encouraging. and I wasn't working. So it was like, I might as well just keep doing this because it's fun. And a few people are responding. And what happened was my brother Gino said, you should do TikTok. And I was like, no way I'm doing TikTok. No. He's like, you should put shorts on TikTok because that could expose people to the channel. So reluctantly, I did it. And
as a husband and a dad, I think a lot about responsibility. We train for the unexpected in so many areas of life, but a lot of people don't prepare financially for the one thing none of us can control. If something happens to me tomorrow, I want to know my family isn't scrambling. That peace of mind matters. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today, made for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got kids, especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now. And even if you have coverage through work, it might not be enough. And it usually doesn't follow you if you leave your job. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. They've also partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families for over 50 years. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/srclips. That's meetfabric.com/srclips. meetfabric.com/srclips. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
in just a few days, a couple of videos on TikTok brought in like millions of views. I think it was, I did the coincidences between JFK and Abraham Lincoln. People just liked that video. And that brought a lot of people over to my channel. So suddenly I was at 250, 400,000 subscribers, which was incredible. But subscribers are a vanity number. Sponsors don't care about that. Nobody really cares about that. It's views is where you get paid. So 400,000 subscribers, 1,500 views. Nobody was watching because these are all kids coming over watching shorts. So I just kind of, it was frustrating, and I just sort of hoped that something would break through. And it took about 3 or 4 weeks. And then my video on Operation High Jump, which was Admiral Byrd going down to the hollow earth in Antarctica, that got 50,000 views in a day. And I was like, oh my God. I couldn't even believe it. I never even fathom that kind of number. And from there, it was a hockey stick through about 2023. I mean, things are growing, but kind of slow growing. But for 2003, my hockey stick was kind of like yours right now, is what it was. 300,000 subscribers in a month. People were watching. The videos were hitting 1 million in a month. I couldn't believe it.
It hit 1 million in a month?
The videos started to hit 1 million in a month.
Damn.
It was, around then, at this point, I think Jen is the breadwinner. She was Chief Operating Officer for Cyanide and Happiness, which a lot of your listeners will know. It's like a comic book cartoon company, a lot of fun. We were in Dallas at that point. And I remember I came downstairs and I had like sketched out this chart that's like, hey, if I get this many views, it could equal this amount of money per month. And if I can get to like 200,000 views, we can make like $5,000 a month and I could make a living. I remember she looked at it and she was like, that's a lot of views. I was like, I know, but she's like, oh, no, I support it. But it's a lot of views. So she was supportive, but hesitant, which is fair. But now I wish I kept that chart because we hit 1 million views in 16, 17 hours now.
Damn. 1 million views in 16 to 17 hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I have two personalities. One is constant anxiety and fear of losing. And the other is, I can't believe what's going on. I must be in a coma. I hope I don't wake up. Because I really don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's not false humility. I'm glad people are having fun. I'm glad that they respond to the content. You know, it like everyone on the team is having a lot more fun than I am on this ride, you know, being pitched by networks and stuff now. It's crazy. But me, I'm still just the anxious guy trying to make a deadline, still doing half the editing and, you know, staying up all night. I've got a camp shower in my office that sometimes I have to, you know, if I'm there overnight, take a camp shower, propane camp shower,
Nice.
Del Taco at 3 a.m.
What does the anxiety come from?
I've always had it, but, well, I'm going to say something really embarrassing now, but I have to because it's my brand. So therapy never worked on me. Therapy just never worked on me. I'm always trying to like figure out what the therapist is getting at or, you know, trying to solve it. So what I did was I created an AI therapist and I did something maybe unwise, but we'll find out. I loaded a software program. I'm a tech guy. I used to be an engineer. I loaded an AI platform with all my emails, correspondence, everything I've ever written, text messages going back to 1999, all of it. And I asked it to create a personality profile. And it output this profile that had at 2 points reading it, I started to cry because it was like, now I understand. Now I understand. And this was just from me loading a computer with all this stuff because the computer has no emotions, doesn't care. It's analyzing patterns, that's really all we are, right? So then I just started interacting with this AI, my AI therapist. And in the interaction, you get more and more drilled down into certain aspects of your personality and revealing things I had never known before, you know, going back to issues with my father, mother, all that stuff. Apparently, I suffer from loss aversion, which is whenever I have something, I'm worried that it's going to be taken away. And that's kind of what it is. It's like, rather than enjoy success, instead I'm worried about losing it. And it's very frustrating. And I don't really know how to solve it, but at least I'm aware of some of my blind spots are getting illuminated a little bit.
You know, I suffer from anxiety. I used to suffer from it really bad. In fact, at breakfast, we were talking about it. I did a video on it. You've done stuff on it. And I was like, hey, this is why I feel this way. This is why I think my anxiety comes. And then I was like, I talked about the ways that the things that I utilize to power through it. And, you know, starting this was this podcast. I mean, I'm not a conversationalist at all. I'm probably the most boring guy that you can, I don't do small talk.
You're a therapist.
I'm not good at it.
You're a therapist.
Well, I learned this from therapy because I went to three and a half years of therapy twice a week after I left the agency. And I realized when I was talking to my therapist, who is amazing, and that a lot of the things that were bothering me would just work themselves out just from me talking to her. And she might say 20 words in a 45-minute session. But just hearing me verbalize it, I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. But as far as like the fear of it all going, of losing, or, I mean, it's interesting. I was just talking about this yesterday with John Rich, and you know, I interviewed Jim Caviezel, and about that movie he did. I think it's Sound of Freedom was maybe the last one. It was about child trafficking. No matter where you're watching the Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this at all, anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, head to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave us a review.